Champion buffs have gotten a really good reputation amongst Mcoc. Whether it's a slight change in a champion's kit or an all-out rework, buffs are very well respected across the Mcoc community, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving a top 10 list of who I think have received the best buffs in Mcoc. Now before I start, I need to say that this is my own opinion, and if you disagree then that is perfectly fine. And another thing which I'm going to make the loudest thing in the video, this is in no particular order. So with that disclaimer out the way, let's dive into the list. So, the champion that takes the number 10 spot for the best buffs in Mcoc is Mcoc. Now pre-buff Mcoc was already a pretty solid champion, where he basically just spams special ones to keep refreshing incinerates and burn the opponent down. And whilst that is still present in the Mcoc we know today, the main thing about him now is his massive special 2 damage through block. It's also worth noting if the opponent can't burn, basically just being incinerate immune, then they get inflicted with an instant burst of energy damage, which can be pretty handy for facing champions like Void. And for the block specials, they are pretty spicy. As well as that, his Sig ability is also really beneficial, and it makes him a lot easier to ramp and a lot faster for BGs. And just a better champion in general. You know, the increased combat power and the bonus in crit rating can definitely build him up faster and also make sure you get the fights done quicker. And speaking of BGs, he can pretty much take anyone outside of mutants. Well, let's just say he works better in some fights, alright? And the champion that takes the number 9 spot is Red Guardian. Although Red Guardian's one of the more recent additions to the 7-star pool, besides being, behind a paywall, he is absolutely mental. Now, before his buff, he was, I don't want to say mid, he was okay. He wasn't anything special, but he wasn't so bad that he's unusable. But after his buff, he is an absolute king. I think the main thing that made him so good after the buff was making him buff immune, where whenever he would gain a buff, he instead gains 1 durability onto his shields that maxes out at 10 at Sig 0 and 15 at Sig 200s. And while the Sig goes up by 40, you increase by 1 durability each Sig. So Sig 40, you gain 11, Sig 80, 12, etc, etc. As well as him being buff immune, he's pretty much one of the best nukes for any Mystic. I've yet to find one Mystic champion that he cannot do in BGs. And also, you can practically keep the opponent permanently suffering from a slow debuff from your special 1 and the fragility from the special 3, and also the trauma after the special 2, unless they survive, which they probably won't survive the special 2, but we'll talk about that later, by just constantly spamming heavies. And about the special 2 damage, it's alright. And now we've arrived at the number 8 spot with none other than OG Storm. Now this is one of many mutants that Kabam pretty much brought back from the dead in this video. Storm went from trash to absolutely incredible. Not to mention as well, her playstyle is extremely easy. All you need to do is just hit the opponent to gain prowess, and heavy to pause prowess until you get a new one, and then when a new prowess buff is gained, whilst the pause is still active, it refreshes all prowess buffs on you, which is really handy, so you can pretty much not worry about your prowess falling off as long as you keep spamming heavies. And you just do the exact same thing that every mutant's playstyle has, being throw the special 2 and rely on crit RNG, and if nothing crits then rinse and repeat, and if you still get 0 crits then cry and just call her mid because you can't counter SIP. But when she does crit, that's pretty good. Moving on to the number 7 spot, we have OG Hulk. Hulk is, in my opinion, the best example of old but goals. No, not pre-buff Hulk, because he was pretty much one of the worst science champions in the game. And now he is easily one of the best, if not maybe even top 10. All you really need for your average BG's fight is just a few Furies, which you basically gain from every hit, and they're indefinite passives until he goes into Gamma Rouge and they start falling off one at a time. Just throw special ones to unlock them, keep spamming heavies, and there you go, you've won the fight with Hulk, congratulations. But also Hulk's main thing is not just stun locking. The burst off his special 2 can be pretty crazy, and if you've also been in Gamma Rage, then it'll stay there until Gamma Rage is over, and the bursts off it are pretty insane. Are they Red Guardian levels of burst? That's debatable, but if we put that to the side, Hulk is easily one of the best widely available 7-star science champions. He's so easy to use, his damage is amazing, and he is an absolute unit. Next up, at number 6, we continue the mutant buff train with Deadpool X-Force. One of the more recent buffs on the list, Deadpool was buffed with Black Panther, Medusa, Purgatory, Sentry, and Sentinel in, when was it? Oh yeah, 2024, during the absolute shithole of the Banquet. And all of these buffs were fantastic, but in my opinion, Deadpool just reigns supreme. And you want to know something about him that isn't like Storm as previously mentioned? You don't need to rely on your SP2 crit. All you do is build 10 charges, special 2, special 1, and that's most fights done. Unless they're a bit bigger, then you probably need to do it again. But with the burst being so big, you could probably do it in like, what, 2 or 3 rotations? Just for like your average Realm of Legends fight, or maybe, you know, Act 8 or Act 9, all this. It's also absolutely ridiculous where he came from his last buff, in quotations, which basically turned him from unplayable garbage to somewhat playable, but still garbage, with new animations. And not to mention, the only way he could build his charges before his second buff was making him skip towards you. So not even hitting, not even just blocking, just letting go of the screen and letting him idly walk towards the AI. Huh? Might I say, he is pretty much the best counter for Nick Fury. All you do is special 1, get those bleeds, watch him go to bleeds, and that's it. And now, we have entered the top 5. So coming in hot at number 5 is Red Magneto. I genuinely live in fear that the day this guy gets released as a 7-star, because when he does, anything that is metal will be turned to scrap. Although that's probably really unlikely, because the majority of metal champions that get added now have a way to counter ability accuracy modification for mutants, which is basically Magneto's whole premise with metal champions. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, but Krypton Magneto does exist as a 7-star. Yeah, but that's White Magneto. And, well, yes, he is good. Don't get me wrong, I think White Magneto is a pretty good champion. And as much as I hate having the same opinion as everyone else, Red Magneto is just far superior. I don't think I've ever met a champion that has survived his special 3, or even his special 2, or even the bleeds after his special 3. And the damage you're seeing in the clip used is a 6-star rank 4 ascended. So, as a rank 5 ascended, I don't know what the numbers would be, but as a 7-star rank 3 though, yeah, let's just say these will probably be pushing the millions. Also, Kabam, you really should have added him instead of Apocalypse as the 7-star mutant at Horrorfire. Thank you. Now for number 4, we take a little break from the mutant train with my second favourite cosmate besides the GOAT you're seeing on screen, Superior Iron Man. Now let's take you back on a trip before September 2023 when regular Iron Man got buffed. Both Superior and regular Iron Man were absolute garbage, basically the worst in their classes. And when the OG Iron Man got an absolutely bonkers rework, I would have actually put him in this list, but I don't have him at high rank and I'm not wasting so many resources on a 6-star I'll only use for one video only. Anyways, I was saying, oh yeah, when OG Iron Man got buffed, Superior Iron Man was basically superior at being ass. Until, I think it was July 2024, he got an absolutely tremendous buff. I suppose the only downside with him is that you kinda need to intercept in order to ramp him up faster, but that's not that big of a deal. If you're good at intercepting, you're good at Superior Iron Man. And when you stack all those buffs, gets a special 2.
That's a lot of damage!
Also, we do not talk about what this guy does on power shield nodes. We just don't speak of it. And now we've reached the top 3. So making his way at number 3, probably the fastest champion in the game, Juggernaut. As funny as that whole Jugs mention thing is, Juggernaut is literally the fastest attacker in the game unless... Oh, get the fuck out of my head, I'm just trying to record a video. Anyways, I don't really need to say much about Juggernaut. He was my first 7-star rank 3 and also the first 7-star champion I pulled this year. All you need is 10 hits, 2 bars of power, and that's basically all you need for a Juggernaut fight. It's crazy that also like a few other champions on this list, he went from bottom of his class to the top. Am I saying he's the best Mystic? No. Is he one of the best? Yes. However, the only issue is any of these debuffs can completely mess him up. Hence why this absolute masterpiece exists known as Jugs Mentioned. which, I'm going to be honest, has literally been talking to me like the fucking Green Goblin mask whilst writing this script. You could also say it's been treating me like seeing a Burger King crone in an airport. And now, for the number 2 spot, we have one of 2 buffs that came during this month that I'm posting this video, being May 2025. And it's the one and only Phoenix.
Stop the cap.
Pretty much the most memed champion in the game besides Groot went to one of the best. I am still absolutely stunned by this man's damage. Just, oh my god. Like, while I was making this video, I felt ridiculously forced to just put him at the number 1 spot, because he's basically the number 1 champion at the game right now. And who everyone's talking about, minus the chick who cost more than 2 PS5s and some spy trick that I absolutely hate fighting. Anyways, whoever made this buff deserves a raise. If they mod the Mcoc Discord server, then just pay them extra units, because this man's absolutely ridiculous. Just the constant chaining specials, the yellow numbers, the special 3 which has made its way to one of my favourite special 3 animations in the entire game, and his true focus that refreshes every time you gain in precision, and if you lose it, it'll reappear when you throw a special. I would put him at number 1, but when recording gameplay for all the champions that I selected for this video, someone just fit the title better in my opinion. And finally, number 1. The champion that I think has had the best buff in Mcoc is none other than the man who makes Bullseye his personal bitch, Mr. Sinister. Where do I even start? I mean, I guess I could say pre-buff Mr. Sinister was pretty ass. He was a semi-annoying defender, but that was about it. But his buff, however, yeah, this is absolutely insane. It still kept him an annoying defender, but it pretty much made him unkillable on attack. Like, you see this like slight damage through block. Nope, that's getting immediately regened because I'm bleeding. And might I say, he's just phenomenal everywhere. Battlegrounds, defender, questing, just a general attacker. If there's something that Mr. Sinister can do, he'll do it. As well as this, he still has the function of regenning every crit, and holding heavy pauses all his debuffs. So degens, stun, everything. Any debuff he can put on will get paused by charging heavy. Now this was a very long Realm Legends Juggernaut fight, but it basically proves the point, which means he is unkillable on attack. So went in at around 53, I believe, and through all this fighting, we finished back at 97. And that basically wraps up the list. If you enjoyed this, I'd highly appreciate a like or subscription, and if you want a part 2, then do let me know, as there are a lot of champions that I would have liked to include in this video, but I just couldn't. Also, I will say, I did get the inspiration from Ham with his top 10 worst buffs in Mcoc, so make sure to go watch that after this video if you haven't already. And I'll see you later. Now roll the outro.